Hi, my name's Carole, and I'm a maker. I've been a maker pretty much all my life. Many of my fondest memories come from my childhood and sitting next to my mom and handing her supplies, watching her crochet and knit. And I remember one time she made this um, calendar where you had to sew on sequins and beads, and she would say, "Oh, I need purple and I need this." And I remember just sitting there with this box of all these things, and I'd hand it to her, and I just love doing that. And one of my fondest memories is I was a preteen and I was outside and I had a cardboard box. And I think, pictures I had cut from a magazine and twigs and branches and bits of fabric and I don't know, just a bunch of odds and ends. And I had that box on the ground and I'm kneeling on the ground and it's not warm. It was fairly chilly and I'm outside barefoot. And I remember just making this house. And the cold didn't matter, the damp didn't matter. It was the making. And I've always wanted to make. I can crochet, my mother taught me. And recently I've taken up hand sewing, slow stitching. And I think the biggest problem I have, and this is probably where most of us are, and this is why I'm going to challenge myself to start having these little talks, is that we need to get out of our way. We are our biggest critic, we are our biggest obstacle. I love to watch YouTube and I'll watch the videos on there and I'm like, wow, I couldn't do that. I'm like, I want to, I can't do what that person does. And then they'll start sharing what other people do. And you find out that, well, they've gone to school and they understand color theory and they understand all of these things and they have art history and they have this. And who am I? I'm this simple person who managed to graduate high school and I make things. Who am I to think that I could be that? And then I think, who am I not to be? And I'm not being arrogant here or trying to be like, oh, I'm more than I am. I'm struggling to learn. But let's go back to our beginnings, to when our ancestors lived in caves or went into caves and they drew things on the wall. And either they had a sharp stick or they had, a bone or they had charcoal. And they made this buffalo or the sun or whatever it was they created on the wall. And they sat back and they thought, wow, I did that. And I don't think it ever crossed their mind that, well, I wonder if I can charge, a buffalo skin for somebody to come in and see this, or maybe I can get some extra meat and they can come in and see this, or, they didn't look at how can I generate money from this. Now, I'm not going to joke with you. I would like to make money at what I do. I'd like to at least cover my costs. I spend a lot of time and money purchasing supplies and making things. I'd like to think that I could at least recoup what I've spent. And I'd also like to think that something I've made sits in someone's house, either on the wall or their table or something, and that they look at it and they go, wow. And it brings them a smile and it brings them joy. So I have two things. I'd like to make some money and I'd like to have somebody admire what I do. But ultimately, whether that ever happens, whether I get, money back or I sell things or anything, I'm not going to stop making because to not make, I don't understand. I have created all my life and I want to continue to create. So I have to get out of my own way. And how do I do that? Well, I need to start being a little more focused. I know there's a lot of talk about journaling and writing your ideas down, and I need to do that because that's not something I'm really good at. I can see the beginning, I see the end, I don't see the middle. I don't understand the process in between. It's not that I don't get from the beginning to the end, I just don't see the process in the middle. That's not how my brain works. But I can see the benefit of going from step 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 and getting to the end. And I think that's something I need to work on. I'm not very good at being organized. If I were to show you around my house, you would see piles of fabric over here and a box of ribbon over here and yarn over there. And I'm a very visual person. If I don't see it, it doesn't exist. So I have a tendency to have things out, which does drive my family nuts, but they love me and they kind of put up with it. So I want to get better organized. I want to get better at going from point A to B, or A to Z, or whatever you want to call it, and seeing the process. I want to take time to actually maybe sketch something out or to write an idea down, because I'm very much a free form creator. I just take supplies and I do something. And most of the time it works out, but I want to see the benefit of getting to that next step. Anyway, this is going on longer than I thought it would. But part of this challenge for me is I'm going to start sharing my thoughts. And if you listen, you listen. If you don't, you don't. It's okay, because I like to make. I hope that what I make brings a smile not just to myself but to others. And I hope that in some small way I can encourage you to get out of your way and to take that next step and to go boldly into your future and into your creative process, whatever that may be. Anyhow, y'all take care there. I'll be back and we'll talk some more. Bye-bye.